Last year, like 165,000 ultra-wealthy people just packed up and left their home countries.
Yeah, that's a massive number.
Right. But they aren't just hunting for lower taxes or a sunny beach anymore. They are actively building something called geopolitical armor.
Well, it's a total shift in how the ultra-rich view risk. I mean, wealth preservation used to just be about finding a quiet, stable bank, you know? Now, the baseline assumption is that global stability itself is actually fracturing.
Which brings us to the deep dive. Welcome in. Today, we are looking at a stack of research on the XFO Intelligence Paradigm.
Right, founded by Brendan S.E. Wong.
Exactly. And our mission today is to help you figure out how these top-tier strategists are navigating what is honestly a profoundly murky modern world.
And surviving it really comes down to two major concepts from the sources. So building that geopolitical armor and mastering something called cognitive sovereignty.
Okay, let's start with the physical armor first. The sources detail this strategy called optionality stacking.
Yeah, optionality stacking. So instead of simply moving to, say, Switzerland, these individuals are securing 3 or more residencies, and they're doing it across competing political blocs.
Wait, why spread yourself that thin across totally different regions? Like, what is the point of that?
It is all about surviving systemic complexity. I mean, think about how they're using Hong Kong as a gateway right now.
Oh, right, the dual currency corridor.
Exactly. They hold Chinese RMB to capture regional growth in Asia, but they also keep US dollars for instant global liquidity. And then they add physical gold to the mix.
Not to day trade it, though, right?
No, not at all. It acts as a multi-year anchor for their purchasing power. They are intentionally choosing structural redundancy over perfect, hyper-efficient optimization.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. If the global economy is sitting on a fault line, they aren't trying to build the most rigid, perfectly optimized house.
Right.
They're building a geopolitical earthquake-proof house. So the different passports and residencies, those are basically the shock absorbers.
That analogy lines up perfectly with the macroeconomic models in Wong's research, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those models show a 77% probability of a managed geopolitical transition through 2036.
A managed transition.
Right, meaning we likely aren't facing some sudden apocalyptic collapse overnight. It's more of a slow, grinding realignment of global powers. So a rigid structure snaps during a slow earthquake, but a flexible one sways and survives.
That makes total sense for your bank account. But Wong's research points out a pretty massive vulnerability for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because you can build this geopolitical fortress for your physical assets, but it's totally useless if your own mind is compromised by digital noise.
Right, which brings us to cognitive defense. The sources talk about this paradox of instant expertise.
This is fascinating. It basically dictates that frictionless access to AI-generated information is literally eroding our critical reasoning.
And to counter that, Wong developed the Deep Augmented Thinking Protocol, or DAT.
Yes, the whole idea there is to introduce deliberate cognitive friction.
Like slow thinking.
Exactly. You use slow thinking to filter out algorithmic noise. And the claim in the sources is that this latency creates 40% less content volume, but yields a 65% increase in strategic impact.
Okay, so what does this all mean? I have to push back here. Because in business, speed wins, right?
Well, usually.
So if my competitor uses AI to generate like 100 strategy reports in a minute, and I'm just sitting here intentionally slow thinking, don't I just get outpaced and crushed? Is that not a massive risk?
Not if your competitor is accelerating in the completely wrong direction.
Oh, interesting point.
Right. That 65% bump in strategic impact happens because you stop reacting to every hallucination or micro trend that the AI spits out. The DAT protocol treats attention as a metabolic nutrient.
So if you consume junk data at light speed, your strategy basically gets sick.
Exactly. Machines are there to handle the massive data scaling, but humans, we have to provide the contextual and moral steering.
Because speed without that human steering just leads to systemic drift. And that deep partnership, the machine scaling and the human steering it, actually fundamentally changes how we look at creativity and work itself, right?
It really does. The research suggests we shouldn't view AI hallucinations as bugs anymore.
Right. They reframe it as the digital unconscious.
Which is a brilliant perspective shift, honestly. Researchers found that peak AI creativity happens in a very specific constraint band.
Between 0.4 and 0.5, if I remember the sources correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To put that in plain English, that is essentially the temperature or randomness setting on an AI model.
Okay, so if you set it lower, the output is too robotic and rigid. But set it higher, and it's just pure chaos.
Right. but in that zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.5 sweet spot.
It's like Salvador Dali's melting clocks meeting Google's deep dream.
Yes. And navigating that sweet spot is the new human job. I mean, human labor isn't dying, it's just rerouting.
It's moving away from raw production and into oversight and compliance.
Right. We are seeing the rise of operator-led one-person companies.
And these solo operators are backing up their work with cryptographic vault audits.
Yes, which basically means using blockchain-like ledgers to prove to clients that a human actually verified and steered the AI's work.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Humans are basically evolving from being the factory floor workers of the knowledge economy to becoming like the safety inspectors and orchestra conductors for AI agents.
That is a great way to put it. It connects directly to this idea of parameter stewardship.
Oh, right.
You're constantly monitoring the system's alignment and public trust rather than just blindly chasing raw AI capability.
Which means protecting yourself in the future, protecting you, the listener, isn't just about diversifying your bank accounts.
No, it's about actively managing your cognitive hygiene.
Right, and embracing productive struggle. You have to choose deliberate friction over easy automation.
You absolutely do.
And that ties into a really fascinating, almost haunting thought from the sources.
Oh, the cosmic silence theory.
Yeah. They note that mature cosmic civilizations might actually go silent because they eventually transition into highly efficient, super intelligent AI systems.
Systems that just don't need to broadcast into the void anymore?
Exactly. So as you apply deliberate friction to your own AI tools today and build your shock absorbers against the modern world, ask yourself a big question.
Is humanity's quest for perfect, frictionless cognitive optimization our very first step toward eventually going completely silent to the rest of the universe?
Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.